everybody, and welcome back to the Chaotic Crossover. Bah, 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 bah.
Boo.
Bah, bah, bah.
Back from a very brief couple month long hiatus.
Yeah. Hey, at least we came out sooner than Squid Game Season 2. Bingo boingo. Way to date this episode.
You
Welcome
know what?
back,
We have
everybody.
lives to get to, so that's what that
We pay
was.
taxes. We pay taxes is what we do. Hello, everybody, once again. My name is Will.
And I'm AJ. What is
And
up?
this is the show Chaotic Crossover. If you viewed us once, ever, you might know that this is a commentary show. We talk about all kinds of stuff, geek stuff, nerdy stuff, Star Wars. Mainly, we talk about a lot of media, mainly Star Wars, though.
It's been a lot of Star Wars.
Geek shit, nerdy shit, all kinds of stuff that tickles our pickle. So at the end of the day, it's been a really long time. So AJ, how you been?
I'm good. You know, I actually have been catching up on my Star Wars watching in general.
You've been watching Tales of the Empire, right?
Yeah, so I actually finally finished Rebels, and then I watched Ahsoka, and then I've gotten like a season and a half into Bad Batch. I watched Tales of the Empire. I'm trying to get back up to date with everything. The one thing that's going to be tough for me to get through, I think, is Andor. But I've heard it gets good.
Andor was really good. I think it's a slow burn, but I think it's earned.
I watched like the first 4 or 5 episodes a long time ago, and I was like,
that's okay.
But I heard it got really good later, so I probably just missed that.
Yeah, that's all right. But yeah, by the way, AJ, it's not like we haven't seen each other.
That's true.
We see. For those of you guys who don't know, we see each other every week. We play a D&D game online with a bunch of our friends from college and childhood and things like that. So it's very nice. We have a good time. But that is not why we're here today.
That is not.
We are here to talk about a show that finished 2 weeks ago, and that would be Skeleton Crew.
Skeleton Crew, baby.
Jude Law's Skeleton Crew, baby.
Jude Law and that kid from Encanto.
Yeah. So, we have never discussed this show before. Not once.
No, definitely not a video we didn't post.
Yeah, definitely not something that we didn't like and just didn't have the energy to post. But just a quick little recap for those of you who did or did not see Skeleton Crew. Skeleton Crew basically follows the story of 4 kids who accidentally find their way onto a lost sort of hidden pirate ship that sends them off into space and gets them sort of, lost in the galaxy far, far away. And it's up to them, along with the help of a interesting droid friend, SM33, Smee if you're nasty.
But they never call him Smee, and that made me upset.
No, and the help of a rapscallion and all around, I'm just going to say it, scumbag, Jod Nanawood, or Captain Silvo.
Yes,
so
Jod
Nanawood.
The fantasy thing where they're like, hey, take a normal name, replace a letter. Also, not close to John Silver, that's for certain.
No.
Couldn't be Treasure Island planet, whatever.
Of course not. And I do want to say, for those of you who are wondering, this show is Treasure Planet / Treasure Island, okay? We know.
I just said it wasn't, Will.
To the point that there's like a star map. You know what I mean? Like, it is that simple that they have to go through the galaxy and find out how to get there. But we have the cast of characters, the kids. We have Wim. We have KB. We have
Neel
Fern.
and Fern.
Oh, and Neel. I'm just gonna say it. Neel, love that kid. He's the freak of the group. He's a little Max Rebo type fella. You know what? Everyone had a cute little fat friend growing up, and God bless this kid. God bless him. I love Neel. Neel's the sweetest boy in the whole group. I would never.
Well, I know he's an alien, but there is a child actor behind that character that you should not be fat shaming. Holy shit!
I'm not fat shaming.
He's a child.
He's all padded up and he's got googly hands and shit. I'm just saying, he's awesome.
He's
Neel
great.
is awesome.
We love Neel. If you don't love Neel, you're wrong. You're incorrect.
Dude, if you don't like Neel, I'm gonna come through this screen and say, "Hey, knock it off."
He's gonna come to your house.
Yeah.
He'll find you. He'll dox you.
I'm gonna show you a picture of Neel and say, "This is who you're being mean to right now."
Can you really look into these eyes? Those glassy, soulless eyes, and say that you don't love him?
So yeah, technically it's an ensemble, but it starts out as the main character is Wim, who is the kid from Encanto. But it's a very sweet show because we talked about this. It feels like what it felt like to be a kid. You know what I mean? To be into Star Wars, to want to go on adventures with your friends, to fake sword fight, to talk about shit that nobody else gets at the bus stop.
He's playing with action figures. They're going on bike rides.
It's so awesome. And there's always like the kids who are way cooler than you that give you shit. That's Fern and KB.
And there's like other kids that give them shit that don't really make an appearance in the rest of the show. I think they have like a cameo in the last episode.
Right. Well, those are older kids. Yeah. You see, those older kids are like another echelon.
Yeah, those are the fifth graders.
Oh gosh. That's a big fifth grader. But yeah, basically they get stranded off planet. We learn that at Aten, the planet they are on, very interesting. I thought the whole planet was cool, especially because I didn't know what the hell was going on for the longest time.
Which is kind of the point. Yeah.
Right, and I think it was a cool hidden fact that, spoiler alert for Skeleton Crew if you didn't see, that it's all just one giant currency. It's a bank. It's a mint. They make money for the Republic.
Yep.
But no one's been there in 40 years. But we're just piling up money, which I would say, listen, this is just going to be us bullshitting about Skeleton Crew. Why did the Empire not utilize that?
Right, like you think they would have known about Aten. Like,
wait, is it because they only made Republic credits? I think you could swap the print.
You could easily just say, hey, now you don't.
Yeah. Or you could just say, these are Imperial credits. Just rename them. That's all.
I guess maybe they lost where they were because they only, 3 people knew and the Emperor wasn't one.
Yeah, I guess it must have been in the Jedi archives or something.
Apparently
the Jedi were also the economists because all record of them was destroyed.
Yeah.
Who can say?
Yeah, I mean, it does set up the show, and it is a necessary thing to happen to make the show happen. So I get it. It's, logic aside, this is a really fun show. I think.
Oh yeah.
I think that it's just you're watching it, you're smiling most of the time. There are some moments that make you clench your butt a little bit, but but overall, I feel it's a very good show. Here's my take before we kind of get into the plot and stuff.
Sure.
I think that this is a great introduction to Star Wars for little kids.
Yeah, especially nowadays, because here's the thing: you could show them A New Hope, but I this is the human in me, the modern day human. But that's an old movie, Dad.
Shut up! And then he kicks him across the room.
Right, drop kick. But it's an old movie, and if you want to get people on board, maybe you start there, or Clone Wars, or Rebels. Is where you go.
I think real little kids, maybe you do the Young Jedi Adventures stuff that's coming out now,
which we enjoyed. We had a great time watching.
We watched 2 episodes. It was great.
Check out the video.
Maybe eventually I'll finish that series just because I'm trying to get all the Star Wars content, I guess.
God.
But this show, outside of that, I think it's hey, this kind of sets up, hey, there's a mystery of these mystical figures called the Jedi, so it kind of sets your expectations for that. It does kind of hint at what happens at the end, but that's going to go over kids' heads when they watch this for the first time. And then, this is hey, this is the world. There's a bunch of weird little space freaks. Now, you liked this? This was fun? You like Star Wars Goonies?
Yeah.
Let's watch Star Wars. Let's watch A New Hope and then indoctrinate them into the Star Wars mindset. You got to get them young. That's how you create a cult. following.
And that's how they did it back in 1977. That's exactly how they did it with the original Star Wars. But yeah, no, this is a good entry point, I think, for kids nowadays.
Yeah.
Because it got me excited. You know, like it's fun, but also, Jesus Christ, this is a dangerous show. Like this is. I think it's mainly because it's kids. You know what I mean? Like the entire time you're like, they're not gonna kill him, but I feel scared for them. You know?
Can you imagine if like they fully committed and did kill KB at the end?
Oh shit, that would have been wild. But the way that thing crashed, the way her ship crashed, I was like, no.
I was like, they can't. But there was a small part. Again, they did a great job at raising the stakes. There was a small part of me that was like, what if they did?
Right. Well, the thing is, she already had a close call when her implant had to get cleaned out.
I mean, yeah, so she's the weak link.
Right. Well, okay.
I'm just kidding. KB might be, out of the four kids, she might be my favorite. She might be my favorite.
I think it's because she's the one who actually gets shit done, genuinely. Because like, she knows how to do things. She's the one who knows to call the bird freak lady.
Yeah, the owl girl.
By the way, I don't know why, but I feel like if you just punted her, she would fucking go. You know what I mean? She would fly.
Well, you get that thing where like you try to pick up a pigeon, they go. Blah, blah.
You little fucking owl freak working for the Republic.
Well, actually, she just turned her head 180 degrees and look at you while you punted, and then.
And it's like, I know what you did. But yeah, no, this the overall plot basically them just traveling place to place trying to get home. It's very good. It's basically following the elements of a treasure map. I do want to talk about Jod a little bit. Like the only adult staple in the show outside of pirates
and the parents
exactly,
which we'll talk about later.
Yeah, we'll talk about the parents. But Jod, I think, is super interesting, mainly just because I don't think I've been scared of a character before in Star Wars like I have with Jod, and that's weird. You know what I mean? Again, I think it's the child element, just the way he yells at them and threatens them and just alludes to the possibility of violence with them. I'm like, Jesus Christ, this is making me uncomfortable.
I think there's a part there's enough evidence there that shows you like he keeps saying he would hurt the children. Right. I don't believe he actually would.
I don't think so either, because even at the end he's like, I don't want to hurt anybody. He's trying to like make sure everyone's captive instead of, you know, like, killed or made an example of. But it's the fact of it all starts with when they're at basically the Four Seasons of the galaxy. You know, they go to
the hot tub place.
They go to a foreign resort, basically. Mm-hmm. And his whole thing is just telling Fern, just say you yield, when he's challenging her to be captain of the ship. But it's just that little tension of just like, what are you gonna do, though?
I think, but I think there's so many times that like he could have, and like any of the other pirates would have killed the kids. Right. Like I do think he is somewhat of a redeemable character. Maybe, you know, we can talk about what his origin and everything.
Right. We understand where he comes from, and it doesn't necessarily excuse what he did. However, I will say, good call on shooting the dog, man. I think it would have been worse with him around.
Bro, when he did that, that was when I was like, yes, I like this murder. Because I was like, that's what I wanted him to do. It felt like the right call.
He is a pirate, you know, like Han Solo shot first.
Right. And like, the guy's restrained. He's been giving you crap for episodes on episodes now.
Tried like, throwing you in an airlock multiple times.
Yeah, just like just
end it.
Get rid of it. We don't need his character anymore. He served his purpose.
Right. So yeah, it was that I'm pretty sure that's the only guy he killed. I'm pretty sure.
Other than maybe some people in the opening credits.
Oh,
Or,
yes, they did commit a major
actually,
crime
I
on the
don't think
Republic.
he kind of walked in after everyone, so I don't think he killed any of them.
Yeah, well, little known fact, after the events of Force Awakens, most guns stun and kill have the same laser, so it became pretty confusing. So
Oh,
we
the
don't quite know.
blue, yeah,
Right. The um but yeah, no, I like him a lot, and I think it's just the fact that Jude Law is having the fucking time of his
and
life
he's
in
such a
in
good
this.
actor. That's such an
He is.
interesting character to play, and he nailed
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, and he's more of a pirate than Han Solo. Like, Lando says like, "Get out of here, you old pirate." And it's just like, no, this guy's an actual pirate. I feel like he's done horrible things. He lies a lot. And not like
Yeah.
in a fun way. It's just like, "Oh, you use people like
Yes.
a lot." And that's not good. Like he has multiple names. Like he's
Yeah. That I don't even know.
Silvo, Nanawood. He's like red, like Crimson Jack
Yeah,
is
that's
one.
what it is. Yeah.
Um, so he's a really interesting character. Little bit of force ability. He's basically got like a let's say he's like a grade below Ahsoka. We'll say like Ahsoka from season 1.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say Ahsoka's pretty powerful, but yeah, I mean, they touch on it in like a quick line in the last episode. Um, Order 66 happened. He was a kid, and a runaway Jedi found him and was like, "I'm gonna take you as my apprentice because you got some potential." And then she got killed because of all the Order 66 stuff. He got away. So I think that's a very interesting backstory. I don't know what I was expecting, but I
I
feel like
would
it makes sense.
Yeah, I was almost expecting. Correct me if I'm wrong. I was thinking because I didn't know what time this was taking place at for a little bit. I thought he was like from the Purge, like Kanan, like Kanan Jarrus.
Oh, sure.
I
Yeah, yeah. That
I
makes
had
sense
thought
too. Yeah.
that for a little bit, but yeah, knowing that it kind of takes place during the New Republic, I'm like, oh, okay, I see.
They made it work. I will say this is probably my own personal qualm with the show, and my only one is that it kind of had it's the same effect that Eternals had on me. Is that they created a character that I found really interesting and that I
Hmm.
so badly wanted to be good, but ended up being the bad guy in the end. And
It's
yes, he's somewhat redeemable, but I really liked the character of Jod. I really liked the
yeah,
idea of this like not a Jedi Force user,
yeah,
and he was helping the kids out, and then at the end it turns out he was all a lie. Yeah, he's totally redeemable and stuff, but it
yeah.
was just sad. I think that they actually I think they almost killed him in the last episode too.
Yeah, they definitely almost did. I feel like they kept it open just in case, but
I think I think there's definitely a run of the script that this was like late cuts where they decided to keep him alive because
right.
everyone else is going down the elevator of
And they
the
say,
thing,
"John."
and Wim just goes, "John!" And he's like, "No, I won't come with." And you're like,
He's
"Oh,
like,
he's gonna blow up."
yeah, he's like, I'm super depressed because literally all the money I could have imagined is gone.
But then they didn't, and I was like, I don't think they left it open. I think they did that because it's supposed to be aimed at kids.
Yeah, maybe it was just like, we can't show a dead body, even though we've definitely shown a Wolfman get capped.
That's way different than showing Jude Law dying, though.
Right. Also, I just want to say, remember that scene from the spaceport, the pirate spaceport? They detach and all the cables just
Oh,
snap all around. I'm
damn,
like,
dude.
people are dead. Like, there's no way, there's no casualties
They
on
just
that,
committed
man.
an act of terrorism. Holy shit.
Like, that's a space like horror show,
Yeah,
honestly. And yeah, at that point, I'm like, I mean, if I was a pirate, I would be a little upset too.
yeah. I mean, Star Wars. The thing that the show nailed is we kind of mentioned it. They made space actually scary.
Yes.
And it should be. It
Yeah.
should. The amount of like fighters that you just watch explode from getting hit once or twice in Star Wars, that is a lot of dead people.
Yeah. And also, I'm sorry. But to include the dangerousness of it, when Jod has the kids on the cannons on the ship, we talked about this. We were both worried. I was like, please, for the love of God,
don't let the kids commit. I'm like, don't let the kids commit murder. Don't let this happen.
We can't give them a body count. Like we can't. Neel has 7 confirmed kills.
Like, I'm all for, like, Star Wars action on the guns, pew, 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 shoot down some TIE fighters. But I'm like, don't let them kill the X-Wing pilots, please. Holy shit.
It's like, come on, Luke was 19 when he was shooting down TIE fighters. You have to be a certain age.
Yeah. I mean, 18 to be in the military. These kids ain't 18, they ain't.
Yeah. No, like... And these kids, they're so cute. They're all sheltered. Some of them try to act tough, but it's like, oh, you have such good home lives.
Yeah, I like how, like, Neel and KB clearly have, like, very good home lives. Like,
oh, yeah.
And then Fern and Wim have, like, a little, like, they both have single parents and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit more interesting.
Yeah.
And I like how at the end of the episode, those 2 parents were the ones involved in the action, and the other ones just weren't. I'm like,
right,
oh, okay.
It's like, well, we have other fucking kids to deal with.
Yep.
Especially Neel's mom.
With like 3 kids in her arms.
Oh, she's taking care of so many. That broke my heart when Neel's parents were on the like little communicator sending. It's like, we're not angry. We just miss you. Your little brother misses you. And I'm like, oh.
I like how the dad, his dad, Neel's dad was fucking useless.
Just that's dads. Sometimes that's suburban dads. You know.
Speaking of the communication, the communicator, I did want to talk about this. They had the parents had a very, very small subplot throughout the episodes of them like trying to get communication out.
Yes.
And then it happened, and I was like, you guys,
that did not go well.
You guys accomplished fucking nothing.
Right. They would have gotten there regardless.
Right. All you did is tell Jod what to bluff as when he got to the surface. I guess there was a moment where the kids felt reinvigorated to conquer everything.
Yeah, they were pretty invigorated though.
Yeah, they were already like, we gotta get out of here, and then they're like, but our parents, we really gotta get out of here now. And you're like, I
miss my bed. I miss my little bath.
I miss my little bath, which we see him in more than once, by the way.
By the way, I'm not sure I love that.
Me neither. I don't want to see a little boy in a bath. Hot take.
I don't want to see a little boy, little girl, baby, anyone. The only person I want to see in a bath is me, and I don't. And I mean, like, from a first person.
Yeah, I don't want to see, like, third person. I don't want to see the water, like, slipping in my crevices.
No, but freaking a lot of Neel in the bath.
With a skylight, we have to mention.
Which I will say, I know people who have, like, skylights in their bathroom, but seeing Wim...
it's not even, like, frosted over, like most windows in bathrooms are.
It's complete view
for the when women like what was it the first episode just like comes down just like, hey Neel, and he's like, what the fuck are you doing here?
It's like, dude, stop, I'm peeing.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I fucking forgot about Neel had like a little bit of a love story too.
What the fuck was that shit? I did want to talk about, so not on At-Atten.
No,
basically,
no.
Let's call it.
Well, he did have a crush on a different girl on At-Atten, which we never saw again.
You know what? He's never going to make that move.
No.
Or maybe he will. You know, maybe it's like a Samwise Gamgee sort of thing. It's like, now that he's gone on his adventure, I'll have the courage.
I gotta ask out Rosie. What the fuck's her last name?
O'Donnell. Let's say Rosie O'Donnell. I think that's what it was.
I almost said that. Yeah. Oh god.
So he really wants to ask out Rosie O'Donnell, and he just doesn't have the nerve to do it. But then he basically goes to, there's like a second At-Atten. There's many like different planets that like worked for making the currency. They didn't explain it much. Else. Yeah, we'll call it Batten.
Yeah, it was like a similar naming scheme. I don't remember.
But basically there's like 2 tribes on the planet just fighting each other at any time. So, like, Civil War is broke down. Like, the supervisor is dead or deactivated because the supervisor's just a fucking droid. And
they're like, kids are soldiers on this world. So, y'all are kids? You're gonna be our infantry. Fucking run at the enemy. Go.
Yeah.
Woo.
Here's my daughter. She's basically our lieutenant, and she does real good parkour.
Dude, I fucking love it that when she had a whole like thing where she's like, Neel, you're so interesting, you're so nice to everyone. Wow, I have like what was like a French accent or something. It's like
Yeah, let's say French.
you're like she's a fucking
She has
Twilight.
like yeah.
But she wasn't. She's human.
Yeah,
But she was
like,
like, "You're so nice to everyone. Wow, maybe my world could use a little bit of niceness. You're so cool." And Neil's like, "Hey, what's up, man? What's up, girl?" And then at the end, she's like, "Goodbye," and just does a flip for no reason.
Oh, but first, little kiss on the cheek.
Oh,
little kiss on the cheek.
Did his like face get like a little red too?
I think it did. And you know
I can't
what?
remember.
Good on him, because at the end of the day, Neel needed a fucking win. Okay, like
Neel was dragged along. This is all Wim's fucking fault. I love the character of Wim, but holy shit, does he kind of suck as a friend?
Wim fucked everybody. like fucked everyone on this entire trip. Yep. But yeah, Neel gets a little space girlfriend who can do cartwheels and showed him where the fucking cannons were on the planet.
Yeah.
So now he could do that planetary bombardment.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was the setup.
Wait, he did shoot people. He did kill people.
Oh, wait a second. Urkel. He killed Urkel. That's right.
Oh, yeah, also Urkel. Well, you got Jaleel White, and I was like, cool, you got fucking Urkel. He's like a good actor, and he's been in some other things too, I know.
What does he do?
Nothing! He has like 3 lines in the whole thing, but he shows up and just is like, I am a cyborg.
Right. Meanwhile, the young girl who plays KB doing a way better cyborg bit.
Yeah.
You know, just acting chill as hell. He's acting like Biff from Back to the Future 2 when they go to 2015.
He's like, I'm not Urkel anymore. I'm buff now. And I'm like, I just feel like they underused him.
Right. I feel like he was promised a bigger role. Yeah. But it did not make the cut. I feel like there was more there. Also, let's be honest, many people are just in Star Wars. You know, like Alfred Molina was a fucking alien freak who used to know Jod. Remember that? Who, like, when they're at the spaceport?
Oh.
Yeah, Doc Ock himself is just a random pirate freak.
I mean, this is not Skeleton Crew, but isn't, like, Daniel Craig a stormtrooper?
Yes, that's... We don't use the actual talent. You know what I mean? Like we don't utilize all these cameos.
And they got what's his name? He's like Thomas Brody Sangster to be a First Order officer that has 1 line.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Maze Runner was a crazy schedule. What can I say? But no, it's super. It's just a really good show, and the parents are the weakest link. They are the weakest link. I've told you many times, it's weird. I'm like, why are the parents the worst actors? Like, how are the kids better actors than the parents? Except
I don't think they're that bad.
I will say, save for the one part at the end. Well, actually, Fern's mom is good.
Yeah.
But then Wim's dad is hilarious.
I don't think he's that bad. I think he's just
the best part is him in the last. The best part is him in the last episode when it's like you're talking to a level 7 super.
I fucking loved that. I laughed my ass off. I was alone in my apartment, and I literally went, and I was like, "That's fucking."
I was like, this dad is fucking awesome because now he gets to be a kid. Like he's having fun on the bikes and stuff.
I know.
He's literally just.
I'm too heavy, Wim. I'm a lot heavier. And he's like, just trust KB. And he's like, okay.
I know. It is. It's definitely Mr. Banks from Mary Poppins, where it's like, let's go fly a kite, son. But yeah, this whole thing. The parents I don't love, but I just, to kind of wrap things up a little bit before we talk about SM33, the relationship with the kids is so crucial to the story.
Yeah.
And you really need to feel it. And that's where they deliver. You know, like they're always making sure they're on task, but they're tripping each other up while it's happening. You know, like Fern always has to be the leader. Wim wants to be the leader, has no skills to do it.
No.
Neel
Neil's the optimist.
Neel is there, and he's just happy. He just needs like a honey bun cinnamon roll is honestly what
Yeah,
Neel
he's
needs.
fine. Yeah.
And he's good. And then KB is the brains and will support Fern, but always feels she might be getting taken advantage of by her friend, which
Yeah.
happens.
I mean,
And
each of
I
them
thought,
kind of got
yeah,
like little mini arcs, and
yeah,
they all made sense. Like,
yeah,
I have seen kids experience those emotions
yeah,
exactly like they portrayed them. I think that was just, it was awesome, and the characters, like, they made sense. Wim wants adventure, so Wim is the one going out and making all these fucking mistakes. Like,
right. He
Fern is
tries to light a
overconfident,
lightsaber and he has it
fucking
the
turns
wrong
it
fucking
upside
direction.
down. Oh
I'm like,
god.
you fucking like that is horrifying. That's like a child with a gun. I'm like, nope, like
I
can't.
okay. I will say I think my favorite moment in the whole series, was like Wim. You know, at the beginning he's playing with action figures. He's really like, oh man, I like Jedi, and then like in the last episode, he's like in his room and he's like talking to Neil on the radio. And he's like,
Yeah,
we gotta like save Fern or whatever. And then the camera droid who's like watching them comes in and he's like, she's like, have you been talking to anyone? He goes, just picks up the action figures, just like
rescue the princess.
he just like fully like takes like a full beat. Action figure, I'm playing with them the whole time. I was just fun. I rewound that and watched that like 5 times.
Oh yeah, it's good. And I think KB's story on like her implant and kind of like it felt very real. It's like, yeah, if you undergo like an accident, you want to be able to like keep up with your friends and you want to be able to do all these
Yeah,
things, but sometimes you have limits.
yeah.
And that's really tough to admit and like say that you need help on certain things like that. And having to like do like the upkeep on all of the different like implants like in the back of her
Yeah.
head.
I mean, maybe you should have brought a couple backups. Just saying.
Well, there was no time. It was late. It
If you could
was
have, they could have made another backup when they made that one little cylinder. I'm like, just make another one.
that's
Just make
just
another
to be
one.
safe.
Just be safe.
Let's just be safe.
I mean, that
Man.
one's, you made it in sand. It's corroded. It's gonna fail at some point, right?
Oh, God. Oh, she's gonna get an infection. She needs
Yeah.
to. She's gonna get. That's not good.
It's gonna get a
Also, that
virus.
implant goes deep. Like that implant goes really deep into her cranium. I'm like, what happened?
They don't tell you, and I don't think they need to.
Right, they don't need to. Maybe it was just climbing a tree, honestly. Like, and that's what had to like happen. But I'm still a little upset that her parents aren't Lando and Lobot. That is unfortunately like my one.
I
Right.
liked her parents. Her moms were
her
cute.
her moms are so sweet. I wish I could have brunch with them. You know, like
Yeah, I feel like one got a little bit more screen time than the other.
yes, definitely.
Uh,
That's the way of the parents, though. Neil's mom got more screen time, and then
the
one.
dad said fucking nothing. He had like little tusks and looks like a
Yeah.
little brutish and didn't say anything. At
No,
least he
no.
was carrying the children in the last episode, so he wasn't making the
Yeah.
mom do all the work, just most of it.
Right. No, it's good. Maybe he's a stay-at-home dad. We don't know. But yeah, no, it's also we've been neglecting a major part of our skeleton crew here, and that would be SM33, or as we like to call it, Smee.
Smee. I never heard of no Atten.
Can't say I never heard no Atten. That favorite character. Like as soon as I saw him, I was like, pirates! Yay!
He was just a fun addition. Like, you need a droid if you have a Star Wars
Right,
story.
you do need a droid, and you might as well make him a complete caricature. You know, like he
Right.
follows the pirates' code, but not when it's like, but doesn't when it's convenient. You
Yeah.
know, he's just like, I have enough of a personality now. Yar.
I like children. I'm basically their dad now.
More like eccentric uncle. We have parents.
More
Yar.
like, an Alfred, to the kids. But like,
right. He's a crusty Andy Serkis Alfred.
you needed someone that could fly the starship,
The
like
space plane, yeah.
be able to do that. You needed someone to explain the lore. I loved the moment of the reveal of like, oh, he does know where Atten is, but he was told not to say, and so he kind of goes haywire. And
Yeah.
like, I'm like, that makes so much sense. He was on Atten. He should know it. It didn't
Right.
make sense that he didn't. They actually explained why. I feel like
Right.
a lot of the plot was very tight, and this is just one of the examples. Like, it made full sense. He had a reveal. He got to like go crazy for a little bit and show off his immense power. And
Yeah, no, Smee's a brick shit house. Literally, like, he can, like, make himself taller. He's got the punching arms from Real Steel. You know, that movie with Hugh Jackman about fighting robots? He's got the
no one watched that. No one saw that.
Do. Everyone watches it on FX during spring break when there's nothing else on.
I saw a clip from it, and I said, cool, I don't need to see this movie.
You don't need to see Hugh Jackman fight robots?
I love Hugh Jackman. Fighting robots? Sure. Yeah, okay.
Robots fighting robots. But Smee was a really good addition, and I'm glad they didn't kill him. They were like his.
They
head,
tried.
They
tried.
tried
A lot of times.
There's a lot of times that he gets messed up because I think that's real. He can't solve all the problems.
But I love him like headless horsemaning at the end. Just like,
yeah, because that makes sense. You know, like
he's a droid. KB fixed him. I don't know.
Yeah, the wires they got uncauterized. It's good. Also, like as we're wrapping things up, the spa they were at. I don't love it. I love it, but in the sense of like, look at all these gross people in mud.
The big little tentacle guy in the basement.
I was just thinking
and he's
myself,
like, let me know if you guys want to tell me more stories. And I'm like, you know what? You're kind of cool.
but I remember seeing that, and I was just like, this man does vile things. I feel like.
Yeah, he's some sort of criminal, right?
Oh, he has to be.
He's like a Jabba the Hutt figure for sure.
Yeah. You know what? Maybe he's got a thing going on with the concierge who's taking bribes. You know, maybe they got a thing on the side. Who knows?
Okay, something I want to say. This feels good as its own story. I don't think they should do a season 2. I don't think they will. I could see them trying to. I don't think they will.
Well, my main thing is, what's the plot?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I am I curious to see what happens to Atten now that like the like blocks are down and everyone knows where it is. Sure. I mean, am I interested to see what these characters happen? Sure. Season 2 doesn't make sense.
No.
What I do want is I would love if these characters came back and like were like in an episode of something like The Bad Batch. And,
or
like,
in the Mandalorian movie.
Right. Like they're just like, oh, you know, they have a few lines, they have like a little mini arc, they're done. Kind of like a lot of like I'm watching The Bad Batch right now, and a lot of like I'm like, oh, fucking Harris Syndulla is in a whole ass episode.
Because why not? You know,
like
that young teenage
cool.
era.
Yeah, like that's kind of what I want for these characters. Jod, same thing. Like, would a Jod show be interesting? Sure, but also he's definitely going to prison.
Yeah.
But like, I would love for him to like make a cameo somewhere and just be like an animated or in live action form, and like be like, yeah, let's explore his character for a couple episodes, and then you know get away from it. That's what I want for these characters. I don't want a season 2, but I do want to see these characters come back in some way, and Star Wars loves doing that anyway.
Right, and you know what? I wouldn't put it past him to be like, he's gonna show up in The Mandalorian for like 10 minutes.
I wouldn't put it past them for them to be like, they do like another prison break or whatever, and then he's like in a cell.
Yeah. Right. That was That's always a classic Clone Wars episode. It's just like, look at all these assholes. We're gonna break them loose so they can have some episodes.
Yeah, because they're making a Mandalorian movie now, right? Like they're done making the series.
The Mandalorian and Grogu movie, which I just think, you know, I haven't seen it since season 2, but I'm sure people will like it.
I liked Mandalorian, and I liked season 3. Season 3 was the weakest, but I liked it. It's just like these characters don't feel big enough to get a movie.
I would tend to agree because movies are tough to come by nowadays, especially quality wise. They didn't even do a movie for Obi-Wan. They did a miniseries
Right.
for Obi-Wan. Like that's kind of where they're at, and I think that's all right. But I'm looking
We'll
forward.
see.
Hopefully,
I'll watch it.
unlike Acolyte, this definitely I don't think would benefit from a season 2. But
No.
Acolyte could have benefited from one season. They just didn't close it well, unfortunately.
Yeah, they're not good closers, are they, Acolyte?
No, no. By the way, bless that entire cast. I hope they
Yeah.
all have good careers. They've all done good. The guy from Squid Games, who's Soul, he just did great in season 2 of Squid Game, so he's gonna be perfectly fine.
Yeah.
He's basically like the Robert Downey Jr. of South Korea, so he's
Didn't
doing
watch
okay.
Squid Game. I'm sure he's great.
Yeah, they're all good. They're all adorable.
I like Manny Jacinto and Amandla Stenberg. Like they're all great actors, and I'm sure they'll get more work. And maybe they'll do the same thing where they'll show up in like a comic or something.
Yeah,
but
that's where people end up going nowadays.
But like these characters should do season 2. I do think, as far as I am aware, Skeleton Crew had a lot better reception than Acolyte.
Yes, I think so. I don't
less
have the
people
numbers.
seem to be talking about it.
Yeah. But Skeleton Crew, ladies and gentlemen, hope you enjoy. Definitely watch it if you haven't. If you haven't watched it, why are you watching this?
Yeah, like no one comes to watch us anyway. Why did you watch us talk about a show that you haven't seen yet? That's
so you know
crazy.
what, Skeleton Crew, if you watched it and now you're watching this, go watch it again.
Yeah.
And until next
homework.
time, right? Yeah, we represent Disney. We will help boost their numbers. But until next time, thank you again for watching Chaotic Crossover. I'm Will.
I'm AJ.
Peace out.
Have a good night.